What's up, guys? Boy Benny. Everybody wants that alpha energy in their leader. You want to know that your leader is strong and can take a punch and can throw a punch and has just kind of that dominant energy. I don't care if it's a football team or if it's a Fortune 500 company, a Fortune 100 company, if it's a startup. You want to make sure that the guy at the top, who's the founder, who's the leader, like that person can fight. You want to make sure that there's positive energy behind that person. That's why this photo is so iconic. It is a very special photo from the 2016 race where Hillary Clinton's very, very periwinkle blue plane, very feminine energy plane, is sitting dwarfed on a tarmac by Donald Trump's massive private jet. And it's such a great photo. This was Donald Trump using his plane for the campaign in 2016. It's just a great photo. And that dominant energy, the dominant color, even the colors themselves. And this is, by the way, the color that Donald Trump wants to turn Air Force One. This is the color of Air Force One right now, actually. It's this like weird feminine blue, and I don't understand why they would ever land on that color. But nonetheless, Donald Trump's plane landed on Hillary Clinton's plane and created sort of like the dominant energy feel. Look at it, it's dominance, right? And Trump goes on to win the election. And so that's really important. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what. That's what's happening in this photo. This picture goes so incredibly hard. This is J.D. Vance with his massive team of Secret Service agents and press flacks and assistants and so on, walking up to Kamala Harris's plane. This is a real photo. Real photo, not AI. J.D. Vance walking up to Kamala's plane and freaking out her staff, okay? So this is amazing. J.D. Vance tries to confront Kamala Harris on Wisconsin tarmac, calls Air Force 2 his future plane. Now that is alpha energy. This is Kamala Harris, still not taking any questions from the press. Here's J.D. Vance taking questions from the press. They landed at the same airport, and their planes were on the same tarmac. I figured I'd come by and just get a good look at the plane, because hopefully it's going to be my plane in just a few months. Oh, baby, Vance tells reporters. Kamala Harris didn't speak to reporters, though. She's such a freaking coward. Here's, this is a pretty awesome clip. This is J.D. Vance walking over to the plane.
Guys, stay back, please.
And nobody was expecting this. J.D. Vance on the other side of that trip has the Secret Service go, oh no. Because you have two protectees, right? J.D. Vance has Secret Service protection as well. So you have two protectees.
Hi. So I know you're covering the Vice President here. I figured I'd come by and just get a good look at the plane. Hopefully it's going to be my plane in a few months. But I also thought you guys might get lonely because the Vice President doesn't answer questions from reporters and hasn't for 17 days. Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from reporters? No? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes her mind, because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter. So have a good one, guys. See ya. What would you like to hear from her? I'd love her to answer the questions. I'd love her to just answer what she wants to do and also explain why every single position she has changed. She pretends to be a prosecutor, yet she pretends to be a tough on crime prosecutor, and yet here she is wanting to defund the police. She's the border czar, yet she's opened up the American southern border. This is a person who has to answer the questions from the media, and it's disgraceful that she wrote for you guys. It's also insulting for the American people. But anyway, we're going to go do our event. I appreciate you guys being here. I wish she paid you some more attention. See ya.
Absolute alpha energy. Holy smokes. I'm just watching this clip live. I mean, like we load it up and we're watching it live. Like, I can't believe it. That is, I mean, what an animal. The animal has been released. J.D. Vance. Common correct. Marco Rubio saying savage. Just absolutely savage. Marco Rubio is what many said was the guy that J.D. Vance beat out for this position. J.D. Vance physically walking up to Kamala Harris's press corps and plane, asking why she's hiding from reporters. JD Vance quote tweeting us here, saying, I thought the reporters traveling with Kamala might be a little lonely. She never answers questions. So I figured I'd go say hello. And the reporter just sat there stunned. Oh, that's the new energy, baby. That's the new energy. You know, I find it particularly funny, and I'm going to get into JD's big viral clip from this morning, but I find it particularly funny because the animal's been unleashed in the guy. They've been slandering and smearing JD Vance, and they've been like going after him. This guy has like probably a 170 IQ. He's like a gifted genius, and he's not going to take it anymore. It's amazing. Kamala Harris saying that she wants to debate. Amazing how Kamala Harris didn't debate JD Vance right there at the plane. That was the opportunity.
I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
Well, here's your chance, Kamala. And where was Kamala's face? Question you regularly do not want the answer to. Boss move, says Keemstar. Bring back plane mogging, says executive producer ALX. Is JD Vance going to ask Kamala a question before the media does? Oh, it's so good. JD Vance assumes the role of acting vice president, says Kamala Harris won't talk to the press. Amazing. Amazing. If you got something to say it to my face. But Kamala Harris refuses to debate Donald Trump. Oh, man. Oh, man. Kamala Harris did go back to the plane, and instead of speaking with the press, used a bunch of Girl Scouts as human shields. You see here, Kamala Harris just wandering up to speak to the Girl Scouts. That's all. Not a real campaign. Just pure and total fluff. And lies. Very vicious lies, actually, about JD Vance, of all people. JD Vance served his country, enlisted in the Marines. He's a veteran. Went to Iraq, deployed to Iraq. Spent a long time in combat zones. Not a fun place to be. The guy who's running with Kamala Harris named Tim Walz. And this guy is a National Guardsman. He's in the Army. But he lied about his service. He'd never deployed to Iraq. And all members of his units call him a coward and say that he betrayed them and let them go on a 22-month deployment and abandon them. And he was the leader because he'd been in for so long. And so as soon as the going got rough, he was out. Yet he's lied about his service. Like this.
I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Yeah, dude, did multiple interviews when running for Congress saying he was a combat veteran, but you're not a combat veteran. Not by anyone's definition. So this is going to be very, very interesting. JD Vance, who is a combat veteran, going in today with just that, with that energy, dude. Here we go. Calling him out. I like this JD Vance activated. Go.
Now look, what really bothers me about Tim Walz, it's not even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. I also think it's dishonest. Something, again, if you guys ever get an opportunity to ask Tim Walz or Kamala Harris some questions, he made this interesting comment that the Kamala Harris campaign put out there, and I bet they're regretting they put it out there now, because he said that and he was making a point about gun control, he said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets. Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. And if he wants to criticize me for getting an Ivy League education, I'm proud of the fact that my mamaw supported me, that I was able to make something of myself. I'd be ashamed if I was him and I lied about my military service like he did.